yes, I'm sorry for the crappy video quality. This is a surprise. I just ran into the Raspberry Pi Foundation booth and I saw that they are showing off a new product called the Raspberry Pi AI camera. I mean, you know, I don't have the most good relationship with them, but they did let me film, and so here is what I was able to find out. First things first, here we have a very close-up of the product. We see here the cable, and we see below that there is a Raspberry Pi Zero running the job. And so it's kind of obvious that they are not using the Raspberry Pi CPU for the inference. Which quite incidentally you see here, person, 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 and sometimes it will also detect my cell phone. Now it will not, but before it was also able to detect the cell phone sometimes. But you see here it's running this person detection functionality. And here we see a slightly different construction. We see that the Raspberry Pi Zero now lies behind, and here we only have the module in some kind of 3D printed foot, like so. And over there is a second demo, and you see this does this Microsoft Kinect-Like skeleton tracking, also using a Raspberry Pi Zero. You see sometimes the skeletons walk away, but in some other cases the skeletons are well in position, and yes, this seems to also work pretty well, and yes, over here again you see person detection. And yes, they also provide a sheet with some specifications, and you see here that they say they are using a Sony intelligent vision sensor, this IMX chip, which is able to use offloading, so that actually a lot of the compute job is done on the not on the Raspberry Pi, but rather on the external unit. And yes, I wanted to apologize for the video quality, but I'm now in my hotel room and I wanted to show you a bit about the IMX500. Basically, what we see here is that Sony has created a one-chip solution where you basically have the DSP on the board. They have some more specifications here, which are not interesting. What is more interesting is here the specification. You see, they can do classification, object detection, pose detection, and then they can also segment images. And they also provide these standalone development kits here. So basically all what you have on the IMX, here you see some key specifications such as the resolution and the frame rate, and basically all of the functions that you have on this part you can of course also be using with the up-to-night stuff. But what is important, you see here, the SDK is not publicly available, and instead you need to register to get access to it. And yes, when you ask them about pricing, they tell you should go and ask Rock. And when you then push them, then they say that they have no price yet. But I've already stumbled across over here this little case here. So this will probably be the packaging that they are going to be using. And yes, one other absolutely epic thing which happened was when I asked them about pricing and availability. And then they basically got really angry and told me that I should go and ask Rock or Rockchip instead. And you know, in the past, they didn't get Caty. In the past, when you mentioned the competition, they were like, And now they are getting Caty. And this shows that they are under pressure. And sometimes, well, there is poetic justice, because I waddled by the Rockchick booth and look what I saw. Yes, sometimes it is just too weird. As I mentioned before, they made a joke about rock chip at the Uptonites, and now I come here and we see here that they are actually also working on machine vision systems. So this is quite an interesting side note. So maybe you should be more careful about what jokes you make. Yes, now I've walked away a little bit from the church of Upton, and so now I can talk openly what I think about the Raspberry Pi AI camera. And I personally have to say that this is one of the more impressive products I've seen Ebenezer Upton's people do. Because this is just something innovative. This is something which I've never seen before. And the whole idea to do vision offloading is a really, really smart idea. I mean, of course, now we don't yet know how much it costs, and most probably the Uptonites will make an absolute holy mess of the delivery. So expect 6 months until it becomes available from a real distributor. But be that as it may, this is definitely a sign that the competition from Orange Pi, Rock, and all the other companies is doing them good. The Uptonites are feeling the pain, they are aggressive and catty, making stupid jokes, and they are innovating. This is the strength of market and capitalism, my friends.